Hey guys, it's me, SS Kage, and yes, I'm back. Sorry for this long hiatus. School just started and everything has been a little bit hectic, but I'll be trying to bring you guys more consistent What If parts. So today I'll be bringing you What If Deku Was a Waterbender Part 3. So let's get right into it. So we pick up right where we left off in part 2. So it's been about a day since the practical exams. Everyone got in. No one was kicked out. Deku got a really high score on the practical exams, like I said. And so everyone walks into class. Deku sees Bakugo and Ida arguing, but he doesn't really. This doesn't really faze him or anything. So he walks in and he sits down in one of the seats. Then All Might bursts in, saying, "I am here," and he tells everyone that he's going to be teaching them combat training class. And he tells everyone that their suit designs came in, and he tells them to put on their suits and meet him outside in the practical exam, well, not the practical exam, the combat training area. So we're down in the combat training area, and everyone has the exact same suit except for Deku. His is pretty drastically different. His coloration remains mostly the same. Instead of being green, it's blue now. So his color scheme is blue, white, and black. He has a waterbender. He has a Southern Water Tribe symbol on his chest, and it's basically just 3 waves like in the original series. He has gloves that store extra water. On his back, he also has a small gourd of water so that he can use that water if the water in his gloves runs out. It's basically Gaara's sand gourd, but smaller, and it's attached to his suit. He has little green pouches that look like they're made out of animal skins on his belt. So that's kind of... It's basically just to honor his Southern Water Tribe roots. His soles are pretty much the same. They're actually kind of similar to Todoroki's feet, because not his feet, his shoes, because Todoroki's have little ice spikes so that he doesn't slip when he's running on his ice. So Deku has those as well. Aside from that, everyone else's suits are pretty much the same. Deku doesn't really have those weird bunny ears or that big smile on his suit to emulate All Might. He doesn't have any of that. He still has his mask, but this time it acts as a rebreather. So basically it stores oxygen so that whenever Deku's underwater, he can still breathe. So yeah, that's basically it for his suit, and we can get on with the what if now. So now that I have the suits explained, All Might explains to the students the rules of the combat training test. So he tells them that there will be 2 teams, one hero team and one villain team. The hero team's objective is to get into the building and get to the nuclear bomb before the villains can realize it. And the villains are trying to keep the heroes away from the bomb and capture them. So All Might, he picks names out of a hat. They come out the same as in the original, so Deku's going to be paired up with Uraraka as the hero team, and they're going to be facing Ida and Bakugo as the villain team. So Deku's match is last, and actually the first one up is Todoroki's match. So Todoroki just freezes the whole entire building, and this perks up Deku's ears when his eyes. So when he sees this, he's surprised to see that someone else in his class has an ice quirk. You guys have to keep in mind that this is Deku's first real time seeing Todoroki use his quirk, because Todoroki got in on recommendation, so he never had to take the test. So he had to take a test, but it wasn't with Deku. So Deku was amazed that there was someone else in his class with an ice quirk that worked similar to his quirk. So Deku was determined to one-up him and prove to everyone that he was not just like Todoroki. So everyone else's matches go the same, and now it's Deku and Ochako's turn. So they walk into the building, and Ochako tells Deku that she knows that they can do it if they just work together. And so when they start walking down the hallway of the building, Deku stops Uraraka. He tells her that she might want to stay behind him because he knows how Bakugo fights. He knows that he's gonna be around one of these corners waiting for them, and he knows that he just knows how he fights. So Ochako takes his word for it because she knows that Deku and Bakugo have a history with each other. So she stays behind Deku. So they're walking through the hallway, and suddenly they hear a loud boom. And right as Deku was telling her, it was Bakugo. And Bakugo came in with a huge explosion, and it just missed Deku's face. Deku sends Ochako up. He bends some water out of his gourd, slices through the ceiling, and he tells Ochako to use her quirk to float up and onto the next level. So she does this so Deku can fight Bakugo. Deku takes a traditional waterbending stance, and he bends he bends the water in his gourd into two kind of like spinning balls around him. Not balls, circles around him. So this basically allows Deku to have like a offense and a defense up at the same time. It's just like what Kaya did in The Legend of Korra. So Bakugo goes in for another right hook at Deku's face, but he blocks this with a wall of ice. Deku goes in for a punch, but Bakugo dodges because Bakugo is just better at hand-to-hand combat than Deku is in this What If. So Bakugo goes in for a kick and lands it right on Deku's face. Now this staggers Deku back a little bit, and then he smiles. He yells out, "Shark fin sword," as he bends the water into two large sword-like whips on his arms, and he starts whipping Bakugo with them. Bakugo dodges most of these, but a few of them hit him, and they knock him back a little bit. So this pisses Bakugo off, and he says, "I'm not going to lose to you in this fight, Deku." Deku says, "I wouldn't be so sure about that if I was you." So Deku busts out another one of his super moves that he had developed over his training with his father. Deku yells out, "Typhoon style, water mist cloak," and Deku instantly evaporates all of the water that he was just using into a very, very thick cloud of mist. And this is essentially the very same move that Zabuza used in part 1 of Naruto when he was fighting Kakashi in Team 7. So the mist was so thick that Bakugo couldn't see 6 inches in front of him, and he yells out to Deku through the mist, "Come out and fight me like a real man, you coward." So Bakugo was getting really mad that he couldn't really see Deku, and he just started firing off random explosions. Little did he know that Deku was standing in the corner charging up a very powerful attack. Bakugo eventually made his way over, and he saw Deku. So he was planning on surprising Deku by using one of his most powerful attacks. So he moves down to the other end of the hallway, and he starts charging up a really, really big explosion. So then Bakugo says, "Deku, you're dead." And Bakugo pulls the pin on his grenadier launcher, on his gloves on his hero suit. And he does the exact same thing that he does in the original story. A huge a huge explosion just comes right out of that glove, and it comes rocketing towards Deku. Deku instinctively makes a huge water wave to block it, but then he comes up with an idea. Deku lets go of the water and rounds the corner, and he just waits out the explosion. The explosion stays there for about 10 more seconds, just completely obliterating the hallway. Once the explosion stopped, Deku knew that Bakugo would have a little bit of a cooldown before he could keep using his quirk again. So then Deku rounded the corner again, and he said, "Bakugo, I'm sorry that I have to do this, but the fight's over." Deku says, "Typhoon style, surging sea," and Deku collects all the water, and he creates a huge wave of water, and he pushes Bakugo throughout the entire hallway, and the entire hallway is just run with a tsunami of water. Deku eventually ends the fight by instantly freezing this water, and this keeps Bakugo in place. Deku says, "Later, dweeb," as he runs up to where he told Uraraka to hide. Now this leaves Bakugo pissed because the ice made it very hard for him to use his explosion quirk, because his quirk relies on sweat, and since ice was so cold, he couldn't really sweat anymore to use his explosions. So he notes that Deku is actually becoming a lot smarter of a fighter. So here we move back to where Deku is, and he's with Uraraka. So they start moving towards the bomb, and Uraraka tells Deku to get out a little bit of water because they're going to be finding Ida pretty soon. Deku tries to pull some of the water out of his gourd, but then he remembers that he used all of his water to freeze Bakugo in place down in the hallway down below. Deku knew that there was a time limit on this fight, so he didn't want to go all the way back down there to grab some water. So he makes a pretty smart idea. He pulls some of the sweat off of his skin and off of Uraraka's skin, and he starts to bend that. Now, guys, I know this is kind of gross, but Katara did this in Avatar: The Last Airbender, so when she didn't really have any water. So I just wanted to give this to Deku. So Deku uses what little sweat he has. It's not really that much. It's only about the size of a tennis ball. So he uses that sweat to aid Uraraka in the fight against Ida. So once they get up there, Ida was waiting for them. He cackles in a very malicious way. "Ha ha ha, you heroes thought you could beat me?" Ida was really playing the part for this. I really want to commend him for that. But Deku keeps Ida distracted with his water while Ochako floats over and touches the bomb. So the hero team secures the win, and All Might congratulates them, and everyone's cheering and everything. And after the match, Todoroki walks over to Deku, and he says, "You may have control over more than just ice. You can move water, but my quirk is more superior to yours." And Deku doesn't really know what he means by this, but he just takes it at face value and walks away. Deku is pretty confident that his quirk is still better than Todoroki's because, as far as he knows, Todoroki is just capable of producing ice. He doesn't know anything about Todoroki being able to use fire. So that's going to be the end of this What If, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want more. Also, please comment down some super move names. If you guys want super move names, I will feature them in if you guys write down the name and a small description of what the move does. So if you guys want to see your super move featured in the next parts of my What If series, please comment them down below, and like I said, include a short description of what it does. All the super moves that I showed you guys today were from a man named Kïd ZêÜSS. He's a YouTuber. He just reached 1,000 subscribers, guys. So if you guys aren't subscribed to him, I'll beg of you guys to go subscribe to him right now. His channel is linked in the description below. He makes awesome What If, guys. He makes What Ifs, I think he posts 2 or 3 a day. So if you guys really want to go support his channel and support my channel, just go subscribe to him, guys. He just passed 1,000 subs, and I want to get him to 2,000 subs as quick as possible. So that's going to be the end of this part, guys. I hope you guys have a great day, and please like, comment, and subscribe if you want part 4 to come out quickly. Later.
組手は終わり。かかしの勝ちだね。